Wait, let's wait to get one viewer.
Wait. Well, I don't
Wait
even
for
see
your mother to log on.
I don't even see a viewer count. What the heck is going on?
We hit a new record.
We hit a new record. No viewers, no viewer ticker.
Yay.
How you doing, Jenny?
I'm good, Mama.
Good.
What you doing?
So, what's going on in your world, Jen?
Nothing. I'm moving.
Whoa, you're moving. Wow. And nobody seems to care.
Nobody. I got a whole
So-
new patio for more money in the same
All right.
place.
All right. So you get to be close to the pool, close to the restaurants. But guess what time it is?
Time for our one viewer to hear our intro song.
I
We've
swear.
gotten prettier over the course of the few months.
What's that?
I said we've gotten prettier.
Oh, we have. We've definitely gotten pretty well. The lighting is much better anyway. But I swear, I want to blow bubbles whenever I hear that music. Like that. I know you're too young, but old Lawrence Welk. But welcome to everybody today. We have comments. Oh, Lucille Chavone is here. Hi, Lucille.
Hi, Lucille. Oh, Lucille. So guess what? I got a patio by the pool. She can come there now and have a glass of wine.
Jen is very, very excited
I
about
am.
her patio. So Lucille can go have wine. You guys can hang out at the pool. But we kind of figured out what's been going on. For some reason, Jennifer's feed is not public, so that's what's been affecting our viewership. I
Sure.
think we're being shadow banned by Facebook, but thankfully people are finding us on Rumble, so that's fantastic. And if you can't watch us live on Facebook because 3:30 is just the wrong time, I hope everybody will go to Rumble, watch us, and give us some rumbles. But Jen, I don't know if you heard what's going on. We've got thought police, we've got disinformation czars, we've got the whole world is turned upside down. That's why our show today is entitled Trash Talk.
I know nothing. This is why I come on your show.
Well, Tim Salvo is here, and Lucille Chavone says that she's going to be there by the pool. Maybe one day we could do a show poolside.
Yes, that's why I got the patio.
Yeah, there we go. That'll be a lot of fun.
Talk.
Well, today's show is entitled Trash Talk because it seems like every day that passes, our free speech and our ability to communicate is being eroded by big government, and all of our human rights and our individual liberties here in the United States are being trampled upon. We're going to get to the new information czar, but you know what it made me think about, Jen, and this was earlier than even my time, so I'm sure that you may not have only heard reference to it, but George Orwell's 1984. It was a very scary book that came out in 1948 after the Second World War, and it was a look into what the world would be like if Hitler had actually won. And so we have a clip. We have actually the trailer for the movie that was made. So here we go.
In 1948, this man had a vision. A haunting and terrifying vision of what the world might become before the end of the 20th century. He imagined a world held in a grip of fear. A world of absolute conformity. Of continuous surveillance. Of organized hatred. And ceaseless war. A world where pleasure is forbidden. Where language and history are being systematically destroyed. And where living people simply vanish. The visionary was George Orwell. He turned his nightmare into the biggest selling futuristic novel of our time.
So this was if Biden wins presidency.
Well, it was definitely prophetic because I feel like this is coming to light every single day. We get a step closer to this, and you've heard me say it before. Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone. That was kind of a spin-off on 1984 in Orwell's book. But instead of taking that warning back in the 1990s, I guess when it came out, we seem to be plunging headlong into making
No,
our
no, it's all there. And there's nothing different.
well, Saturday the European Union passed the Digital Services Act, which requires tech companies to more aggressively police their content. And then this week, after the Elon Musk Twitter purchase, which we all heard that Elon purchased Twitter, all of a sudden Joe Biden decides to appoint Nina Jankowicz to become the Department of Homeland Security new Disinformation Governance Board czar. And so I went back. You might have seen, it depended on what news shows you were watching. You might have seen that she had a thing on TikTok where she said she was the Mary Poppins of disinformation. But I found this clip of Jankowicz it was in July 9, 2020. She was promoting her book on a town hall that was held by the Wilson Center Keenan Institute. And she talked about how Rudy Giuliani was spreading Russian disinformation. Watch.
I would say we are absolutely still in an information war with Russia. We have not, imposed costs on Russia to an extent that has been a necessary deterrent. Our government, parts of our government, the executive branch, has openly accepted foreign assistance in terms of interference related to the election. A great example of that is the Ukraine impeachment narrative about the CrowdStrike conspiracy theory that we heard being repeated during the impeachment proceedings, as well as the narrative that Zelensky was some sort of Trump enemy. All of this was laundered through foreign actors, and again, we don't necessarily know whether they were connected only to Ukraine, or if there's some Russian influence there with these folks who were working with Rudy Giuliani. And then this ended up, as part of the congressional record during a conclusive impeachment proceeding.
So we know damn well that Hunter Biden was in cahoots with the Ukraine. We know now, but
no, he wasn't. The internet says it didn't happen.
Well, you know what? Now we see that it did, right? We have an actual investigation going on into Hunter Biden, into what's going on. It stopped. The internet didn't let us talk about it at the time, but she was spreading the disinformation. And there's so many more clips out there. Kim Salvo says that's expert Jankowicz. Expert of what? Well,
exactly.
Apparently she, what she's expert at seems to be promoting the Biden agenda. And so now he has introduced her to, or given her to us to monitor our free speech. So really, really scary.
Yay.
Yay. And I mean, just crazy stuff that's going on now. And you wonder about things. And back when during the debates, maybe you remember this little clip. This was about, well, I don't need to.
You don't need to explain everything.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
That's exactly what. This
is where he's going.
So the laptop was a Russia hoax, and we know that it wasn't a hoax. We know that it existed.
Of course.
So what do we do, Jen? I mean, what happens when, we're not allowed to have humor anymore?
Well, we're not. That's why I quit comedy. After 12 years, we're not allowed. We're not allowed to have it.
Not allowed to laugh, not allowed to poke fun. Everybody has to be homogenous.
Nobody can have anything nice anymore.
Well, isn't that the truth? I mean, I just cannot believe that America is, the place where people are dying to get in. I mean, literally dying to get in. And we're now going to follow the European Union. And in my opinion, they did it because Elon Musk bought Twitter.
And now they want to try him. They want to have a case against him. They said yesterday, I think Angela, one of my clients, sent it to me, that they want to put him on the stand and question him.
Who, Elon Musk?
Yeah.
About what?
About how he bought Twitter, why, she sent it to me. She sends me these things, and she's in Wisconsin. She sends me these things, and I breeze through them, and I get nauseated, and I don't even bother reading it because it's just bullshit. Every time a Democrat doesn't agree with what you've done, you go to trial.
Yeah. Well,
but we couldn't go to trial because we didn't believe that the election was rigged. We weren't allowed. But you could do one little thing, and there's a whole trial. Our tax-paying dollars and everything is getting thrown down the tube so that somebody could get tried for some nonsense.
Well, as of right now, I haven't heard that Elon Musk is being brought up on any charges, but I do know that the SEC does have a limited ability to approve the deal. And as a matter of fact, the left, there's been many of them, but I have a clip from the 11th hour where some experts are talking about Elon Musk. And we've talked about this before. They're turning him into some sort of enemy of the people because he had the goal to buy Twitter. So have a look. This is the left's meltdown on Elon Musk.
I don't know what it's going to look like. He talks about it being a free speech platform. I'm not sure what that means. He talks, he sort of insults advertising, as did Jack Dorsey in a very similar tweet, an interestingly similar tweet. He talks about it being a place where there's trust, where there's open algorithms. So it's a lot of words.
It's great to talk about these things in platitudes. Right now, Elon Musk has the privilege of being a heckler, posing as a free speech warrior. But what he's about to become is a massive content moderator on one of the biggest platforms.
This guy has no experience whatsoever with any of the lines of business involved in Twitter. He has no media experience. He has no experience with advertising. Tesla doesn't even really advertise. And, the idea that he's also now going to be essentially the referee of major political speech around the world, including possibly the decision of whether or not to bring Donald Trump back onto the platform, and in doing so, possibly, supercharge a second presidential bid. I mean, all of that is definitely way outside what Elon Musk has ever done before. Now,
I want to share that tweet by Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey, where he writes, in principle, I don't believe anyone should own or run Twitter. It wants to be a public good at a protocol level, not a company, solving for the problem of it being a company, however. Here's the thing, though. I do love it when these bazillionaires talk about let's just do public good and no one should own it. Founding Twitter is what made Jack Dorsey the billionaire he is today. So that's kind of hard for me to stomach.
There's not a wackier group of people than these tech people, and they're moving around assets in a really unusual way.
First off, he is a media expert. Look how much he's been in the media over the past, 15, 20 years. Who's the expert who silences everybody? Who's the fact checkers? I would love to know that. But I did find the article on Fox. Senate Dems considering calling Elon Musk to testify on Twitter by. This was yesterday. That some of the Senate Democrats were reportedly considering calling on Tesla CEO Elon Musk to testify about his plans with Twitter after he reached a $44 billion deal. And Senator Maria Cantwell told Bloomberg in an interview published Thursday, we're thinking about the possibility of a hearing.
So think about that. So you buy a major company and, first of all, to say that Elon Musk doesn't have the experience. Well, did Jack Dorsey have the experience? He started Twitter in his freaking garage, and
they all did. Mark Zuckerberg, Tom from MySpace.
Right. So to say that Elon Musk doesn't have the experience, I think is laughable. For her to say that the tech people are the wackiest people that there are, I disagree. I think you guys, the MSNBC crowd is the absolute wackiest group I've ever seen, because there's no such thing as truth in anything. It's all mind games and everybody's got to walk a certain way, talk a certain way, and they profess that they don't want hate speech. But meanwhile, if you go on Twitter, that's all you see. Last week we showed it. So,
this is turning into North Korea. I said it 15 years ago. America is going to turn into North Korea.
Well, it's amazing. And you know what, Jen? If they do call him to testify, I don't think that there's enough brain power in the Senate to understand a word he says. This man figured out how to send a rocket into space, bring it back, and get it revved up to go back into space again. I mean, SpaceX and all that he has done, he did it without government funding.
Yeah.
He did it on his own. And these senators are supposed to tell us or tell him what he should be doing, right? I mean, this is really, it's beyond. It's beyond.
MSNBC is terrible. I bought a new TV. I bought a Samsung, and when you turn it on, MSNBC comes on. And I'm so scared of the TV. When you're watching, like, say, Hulu or Netflix for too long and you don't touch the remote, which is what I do all day while I'm working, I just leave it on. It shuts down and goes back to the bottom, and MSNBC comes on.
Oh my God, that's scarier than
it is the worst TV ever. I hate it. I don't like it.
That's scarier than the Poltergeist scenes.
I bought a liberal TV.
Oh my God. Well, but that's conditioning, right? I mean, we saw it at the clip at the beginning. It's conditioning. Orwell had this far-fetched idea, and it's coming to reality, and the left is running towards it. They're running towards it. And the biggest problem it seems that they're having about the whole Twitter stuff is that Trump is going to be allowed back on. It doesn't matter that Ayatollah Khomeini is on. It doesn't matter that Putin is on. But Trump might come back to Twitter, and it will supercharge a campaign so that he could be president again.
They're nuts. They're nuts. They're really batshit crazy.
If Trump becomes president again, it's not because of his ability to appear or not appear on Twitter. If Trump becomes president again, it's because the votes are counted properly, and people, who want a president that, number one, is sound of mind, number two, is not a freaking lunatic, and number three, won't cave to the left. They want that. They want money back in their pocket. They want the economy recovered. Did you hear Biden? Biden and his people now, they're starting to talk about the vaccine as if they created it, that Biden created it, and he's the reason that COVID is gone.
They're crazy. They really, really are. Can you imagine? I was thinking the other day, can you imagine if Elon Musk, he let Trump back in and made a whole production of it, like Trump comes out of the ground on Twitter, live with smoke? Like one of those big church parties that you have with those people that rob all your money. And everyone's clapping.
He's back.
He's risen.
Well, supposedly Trump wants nothing to do with Twitter because it's now a direct competitor to Truth Social. And I don't understand why the left doesn't get that. I mean, Truth Social has taken off. It's number one in downloads.
I haven't seen one thing on it.
Well, it's number one in downloads. You can download it because you have an Apple. I can't because I have a Samsung. But
that's your problem.
But it's your problem. But at any rate, I don't think he's going to be looking to get back on Twitter anytime soon. But that's truly what the meltdown is about. I don't understand how they could be melting down, especially the news media, melting down about allowing everybody to speak freely on a digital platform and not be monitored and not be censored. I mean, really, this is
it's so funny because all these women, like the AOCs, who are all about all the women and empowerment and do good and be great in business, be the first female, this and that. They were the ones who canceled out his daughter, Ivanka Trump, her clothing line, her business, and she grew from the bottom up. A woman who flies coach, because my son flies with her to Passover every year, flies coach with her husband and her kids, has worked her butt off, and they destroyed her business. This is what they do, and no one sees it. They want to say everybody's equal, we're this, we're that, pro women, and then they bash the ones that they don't like, and they take them down and destroy them.
Yeah. Well, look at what they did to Melania. The woman speaks what, 5 languages, and they treated her like she was an imbecile because she was beautiful. Meanwhile, for them, Michelle Obama was the most beautiful first lady we ever had.
Well, she was beautiful, but not the most beautiful.
Listen, there's hands down, Melania Trump was the most.
Oh, 100%. It's definitely not Jill Biden.
She was the classiest. The next to her was Jackie Onassis, yes. Gorgeous woman. I mean, we're not going to put Hillary in that category, but the fact that they took us back to start to talk about how she looked and whether or not she was smart. I mean, that's undermining the women's movement altogether. But I'm not surprised about undermining the women's movement, because that's what this whole pronoun, gender identity is doing. It's undermining women everywhere. And while Trump's not allowed on Twitter, guess who is allowed on Twitter?
Who?
This idiot who's by the way, she's charged with teaching our children in kindergarten. Watch this. She's going to school us and other teachers about the use and the talking about pronouns.
So this one is about pronouns. Now I'm going to start with a preface that you should be talking to your students about pronouns. Everyone has a pronoun, and you shouldn't be assuming what they are. Just like you shouldn't assume what someone's name is, right? Like if I went up to you and I was like, hey, George, and you're like, no, my name's Kyle. And I said, no, it's George. And you were like, no, it's Kyle. And then I responded by saying, no, I can tell by the way that you look that you're a George. That would be ridiculous. And that's how ridiculous you sound when you assume people's pronouns. But I figure that anyone following my page already knows that and is already talking about pronouns with their students. So the real tip on how to be more inclusive in your classroom is to stop calling them preferred pronouns. That's horrible. My pronouns aren't a preference. I don't prefer that you call me she, her. It's not a preference. It's my gender. Please respect it. They are my pronouns. They are not my preferred pronouns. They are my pronouns. So in your classroom, just start calling them pronouns. Stop using the word prefer as if, your gender is a preference. It's not.
I don't even know what happened there. And just so you know, your computer is broken. There's no it's broken. There's something going on because it's double sound when you play the videos now.
Well, maybe
it's not me, because now I have an option where my mic shuts off, but the sound, it wasn't mic off. It was sound on that automatically goes off. My mic is off. It has the X through it.
Okay. I don't think that our group here needs to know about our backstage stuff, because it's not coming out.
You're going to silence me now?
What?
Well, look, we went up a viewer now. Now that I'm talking.
Say again?
I said we went up a viewer now that I'm talking.
Well, if you want to talk about the backstage technology,
I'm helping them because they're hearing two things.
Okay. Well, and
I'm just letting you know.
Okay. Well, it shouldn't be that way, and I think that when it plays back on Rumble or on Facebook Live, that won't be the case. But I have an idea of maybe what it is. It's me unhooking my microphone so you could hear. So I won't do that on the next clip. But at any rate, so here she is. What is she, 18 years old, 20 years old? And but the thing that I don't understand is she's saying it's not my preferred pronoun. It is my pronoun. Well, if you're a man and you want to be called she, then isn't that your preferred pronoun? Or did you automatically, magically, because you think it and feel it, now you're a man?
She confused me so much that at one point I thought she was politically correct. I didn't understand what was going on. So I'm like, wait a second. Is she right? Did we misinterpret what she said? It sounded like she said, I'm a girl and that's it. It's not my preferred. But then I'm like, what? I don't even know what's going on. Forget it. You're an idiot. That's what you are, an idiot.
Is that an adjective or a pronoun? I can't remember.
It's an adjective. Okay. No, it's a verb. No, it's an adjective. It's an adjective. An idiot? I don't know.
So can we start calling people by their adjectives instead of by their pronouns?
Moron. Douche.
Idiot. Yeah. Okay, for our viewers, I think that we should all go around using adjectives for people instead of pronouns. That's what we're going to launch it right here on Right Stuff. No more pronouns, adjectives only, and that's where we're going to go. So okay, so let's see. Now I need you to give me an adjective for this state senator in California. Her name is Connie Leyva, and she's talking at a state senate board meeting. Watch what she says about parents in school.
Thank you, Senator Melendez. And I would just have to say that I don't know the last time you attended a school board meeting, but I think parent involvement is essential. But someone needs to give some of these parents a lesson on how to be professional. Yelling at people, screaming at people, running up and down the aisles, heckling people and students who are speaking. I think those are some of the concerns that people have. So I agree with you 100% that parents should always be involved, but we should be modeling good behavior.
Or is it backwards?
No, it's not backwards. That's a good adjective. So she says that parents need a lesson in good behavior and how to behave at school board meetings. The problem isn't that the school board and the curriculum that they're forcing down parents' throats is screwed up and that the parents oppose it. She wants to teach parents how to behave.
She should be happy they're even there. Parents don't care anymore.
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know which one you want to call it. Parents now do care because the Department of Education and the curriculum that they're trying to force feed down children's throats has become so wildly. I won't even use the word progressive because it's not even that. It's insane. It's insane when
delusional.
They're doing more to abduct children's minds and convert them to the left way of thinking than they are spending time teaching kids how to be adults. But I think that from that clip this is what's inherently wrong with government today. They have to teach parents how to act. Not that parents need to, they as senators and as school board members need to receive what the anger that parents are demonstrating and adjust to conform to what parents want their children to learn. And that's the problem. And it goes back to the first clip, the George Orwell clip. Government is dictating to us how to live, not responding to our needs in our daily lives. And that's why I included this clip in this, because this was, to me, I couldn't believe that this woman stated that in her condescending way, just like the Twitter kindergarten teacher, with her pronouns. This is how you need to behave. This is how you act in public. Oh, really? Who are you? If I'm pissed off because somebody's doing something to my kid, you better believe I'm going to go there screaming and carrying on.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I don't know.
Moron. That's what she is, a moron.
She's a moron, is the truth. All right. Well, she wants to teach parents how to act at school board meetings. But let me show you what happened when Congressman Jim Jordan questioned yesterday Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. He asked a question about what was going on at the border, and the question was whether or not terrorists were allowed to remain in the United States. Watch what happened. Not just the exchange between Jordan and Mayorkas, but watch what the chair of the committee did. This is going to blow your mind.
42 illegal immigrants were encountered at our border are on the terrorist and no-fly list. Are any of them still in our country?
Gentleman's time has expired.
This is an important question for this committee. Are any of them still in our country?
Congressman, I will deliver to you a response with respect to...
No. That's a simple question. Are terrorists, people on the terrorist watch list, no-fly list, are they still in the United States that you've encountered on the border?
Congressman, some of them may be still in detention. So I will...
Have any of them been released? Have any of them been released?
Time has expired.
This is critical for the...
recognizes
you got 42... have they been released? Will the gentleman answer that question?
Congressman, I will provide you with...
Thank you,
They
Madam
may have been
Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member, I believe it is my time.
Madam Chair, if I could just 1 second. I'm
No,
sorry.
the gentleman's time has expired.
We want to know if people on the terrorist watch list, have any of them been released?
Mr.
And he won't answer that question.
It is, Mr. Jordan, it is my time.
But this is about people.
It is my time.
That's a pretty important
time has
question.
expired.
That's a pretty important question.
Thank you.
I can't believe
Secretary
the majority
Mayorkas.
doesn't want to know the answer to that
Ranking
question.
Member Jordan.
Madam Chair, point of order.
You're not allowed. That's it. They don't want to hear. When you actually ask a question that makes sense, what do? They silence you.
I mean, I would think that the American public would think that that question needs to be answered. Don't you? So rather than somebody ceding time to him so he can finish the question and answer the question.
Because they're wrong.
These women who are supposed to be so freaking brilliant are trying to stop him from having Mayorkas answer the question. So we're standing on protocol of your time is expired, rather than saying, I'm facing re-election. Are my constituents going to want to know if the open border policy that Mayorkas and the Biden administration are allowing is going to get me blown up?
Aneurysm. Remember, you have an aneurysm.
You know, that means
this is my here. All of them.
Is that what a Karen is? I thought a Karen was somebody who cries and tattles on their oh, well, I guess they are the Karens. Yeah, tattles on their name. But Jennifer, this is our Congress. That's a congressional hearing, and I know people were put off that Jordan was intense on Mayorkas, and there were hours. Let me tell you something. I couldn't choose which clip to show you, but most of the other news stations, at least the conservative news stations, are showing that exchange between them. So for me, the rest of it, I figured you'd see on some of the other stations. But this question, I mean,
it's a legitimate question. It's the most legitimate question out of all of it. Sorry.
I mean, we lived through the bombing of the World Trade Center and the planes flying into the World Trade Center. Thousands of people died here in the Pentagon, in Pennsylvania, because of a terrorist attack on our soil. And the question is, are any of the people that came over the border who are being identified as terrorists, 42 of them, have any of them been set free? And Mayorkas' answer is, well, I don't know. Maybe some are in detention. I'll get back to you on that.
We should know. That is the most important thing for our country.
The most important thing. If you don't have public safety, you have nothing.
Isn't it amazing? With January 6th, again, don't agree with it at all with the violence, but they have spent a year and a half pulling everybody out that was on the lawn, this and that, whole big trial with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. But we have terrorists that are entering the country and we don't know where they are. And nobody wants to answer the question.
But that goes back to the original clip, 1984. That's conditioning, because they needed something to turn the tide. They created January 6th. Okay, so now this legitimate question is asked at a congressional hearing about whether or not
I know. I'm
Right.
looking. Grandma's here. Tony Herbert's here. our
Grandma's
brother
here. She
from
wants
another
us to know
mother.
she's been here since the beginning. And Tony Herbert is here. Hi,
Hi, Tony.
brother, little brother. So Jim Jordan asks about keeping our country safe, and we can't allow that to happen. And watch. I guarantee you, if you watch MSNBC, CNN, any other left-leaning news channels, is all you're going to see is the exchange between Jordan and Mayorkas, and they're going to point to Jordan as if he is some sort of lunatic who is angry and nasty and should be the disinformation czar, should ban him because he's not being nice, right? They're going to make him like he's the hateful guy, so we should all attack him. But nobody's going to say, hey, why is the head of Homeland Security not answering the question about whether or not any of those 42 terrorists have been allowed back?
Well, that's common sense. When you don't answer that, it's because the answer is what people don't want to hear.
Yeah. And there's a clip, and maybe somewhere else you can look at it. You can find it on C-SPAN. They carry everything. There was
Or come to my house, the TV, and just turn it on.
MSNBC. It'll be on Jennifer's TV. There was a clip when Jordan was saying, how many of the 800,000 people have been let free into America. And Mayorkas turns around and says to him that in 2010, he found out that it was taking 6 to 8 years for people seeking asylum to actually get that asylum. But the Biden administration has made it instantaneous.
6 to 8 hours.
Yeah. And he's proud of that. He thinks that is fantastic. And you want to know what's wonderful is that if you look at the polls, which I don't believe anymore, I'm sorry, the polls are all screwy because people don't answer them correctly. But that's all we have. Right now, the polls are saying that the number one issue is the economy. The number two issue is education. And number three issue is the southern border and people coming in through the southern border.
I thought it was going to be Trump.
No. You know what? It's not Trump. But only unless you are an MSNBC host, or somebody who works in Twitter, or somebody who wants Joe Biden to be reelected. I can't imagine who those people
Oh my God, I'm going to kill myself. Like I will.
Wow. So this is what we've got happening in Congress. Now we have Senator Connie Leyva saying that parents ought to be taught how to act in school board meetings. And we have Mayorkas with a smile on his face saying, well, gee, I don't know, Senator. I don't know. I don't know how many terrorists have been left, allowed in America. And I've always said, it's not what you say, it's how you deliver it.
Like how your mother just delivered that she gave birth to you. She bloomed us, she said.
All right, Mom, you get full credit for that.
She's very talkative today.
You're very talkative today. No, we're talking about terrorists, Josephine. Well, yeah, but it's not what you say, it's how you deliver it, right? So if we've got Mayorkas sitting there very composed and with a smile on his face, they're going to paint it as Jordan was wrong. And, the truth is that Mayorkas was wrong because he didn't give him any information. He had a hearing and did not answer the most important questions to Americans, which is, what are you doing to keep us safe?
Nothing.
And Jordan asked it a million times. So almost one time for every single illegal migrant that escaped and came into our country. So, but they blame us for trash talk. They shadow ban us. They don't want to promote us. But meanwhile, what they're doing is they're mind screwing us. That's exactly what they're doing.
All we do is ask questions, logical questions.
Kim Salvo says the entire cabinet must get how to lie lessons. They definitely do. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Stasi. We love them both. You did good. Thank you, little brother.
I love you.
He's so sweet. He's so sweet. Kim, I'm with you. You know, it seems like the big lie is just, it's taking control. They lie, and then the left regurgitates it, and their biggest fear is that they're not going to have the Twitter platform to be able to regurgitate this.
Well, did you I don't know if you did this because I don't pay attention, you know this. Did you happen to put that article that I showed you from CNN about Biden with misinformation that CNN?
No, we didn't include that. But why don't you talk about it? I figured.
No, CNN wrote a whole article the other day about a bunch of points that Biden had said, like he told the truckers that he drove an 18-wheeler for work, and it came out the White House said no, he slept on a cargo truck once during college, and he never drove one, and they tore down all the things, which was a lot of things that were false information.
Dozens. They said in the first year,
but during this whole article, they kept saying, but it's not as bad as Trump. But it's not as bad as Trump. So they were okaying it. They were saying it's okay because his lies were not as bad as Trump's. I was reading it and I'm like, are you serious?
Right. They say because Trump lied thousands of times.
So this is okay.
They're fact checkers, but Biden only lied dozens. Now, is it?
He's only been in office for 1 year.
Right. But is it the quality of the lie, or the center of the lie, or is it? I mean,
you get caught in a lie.
what they were talking about with Trump were all BS things, but it's so funny that we're leading into that because as a matter of fact, Donald Trump sat down with Piers Morgan, and this I think that you will enjoy this. Hold on a second, let me just find out where it is. Hold on a second. Wait, where's
she's looking. I think everybody should actually, whoever doesn't have a job, you should go and apply to be a fact checker, and then we can just all take back. We can take it all over because obviously there's no criteria. You don't need. There's kids, so why not? Why can't we go become fact checkers?
Well, apparently
we'll get fired immediately. But who cares?
Well, is there any training for fact checkers?
I'm going to look up. I'm going to go on Glassdoor, whatever that open door, and I'm going to find out where there's fact checker jobs.
I love that idea. I absolutely love that idea. So Donald Trump sat down with Piers Morgan, and here's what he had to say with Piers. This was an interesting exchange. Watch this.
Those who don't like you, there's people out there that don't like you. I know you said recently that you were very popular, and I think you said you were the most honest man in the world last week.
I'm a very honest man.
Was that true?
Yeah, I think I'm a very honest man. That's
but to those who don't like you,
much more honest than you, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm pretty honest.
Because I don't think you're real.
Really?
But yeah, I think I'm a much more honest person in most ways, in most respects.
Why am I not real?
But we're not going to get into that. Let's finish up the interview. Go ahead.
Go ahead. My question was this: what message do you have to people who can't think of anything worse than you running again and will be distressed about it? Would you come back with all the experience you've had of being president? Would you come back a different person? Would you do things a bit differently?
So I like this question in a certain way because I came in and I was attacked from day one. Unfairly. Russia was a hoax. The impeachment hoax, number one. Number two, it was all a big hoax. The Mueller report. And I had to fight back, and I had to fight back strongly. And if I didn't fight back strongly, I wouldn't have survived. And I say it, and I say it loud. I had two jobs to do. Run the country really well, and the second was to survive.
So,
yep.
The fact checkers, he's saying he's the most honest man in the world. I say he's got a lot of hyperbole, and we all know that. I mean, even the people that love him and adore him say that his fingers should have been broken and he needed to stop with "This is the greatest, this is the greatest." But I get where he was going. He was trying to hype us up to become invested American citizens, invested patriots.
And we were.
Go ahead.
We were. Look how many rallies, how many people conjugated on Saturday mornings at 5 a.m., who actually went to D.C., who cared about the voting. You had kids that would never have known when George Bush was in office if anything was going on. They didn't care. Nobody cared. He made people actually care. And, you know, like the Dems are passionate about silencing us. We weren't allowed to be passionate about our country, but the country that they think is so great that they should let everyone in over the border and give them free shit. So this is such a great country, but we can't benefit from it. We have to be punished.
That's right. And we can't be proud of our country. But, you know, when Kamala Harris goes to other countries, she starts every speech with, I understand, you know, the people of Mexico are a proud people and they're proud of their country, or the people of the Ukraine or the people of Poland. She starts every speech with pride in one's country. But saying that you're proud to be an American, that's not allowed. Again, back to the top of the show, 1984, mind screw. You must behave in a certain way. You have to hate your country. You have to not question your government. If you question your government, you are bad. You have to fit in. You have to be a cog. You cannot be an individual. That's what they're doing with why they're melting down over Twitter. That's why they're melting down over Trump. You hit the nail on the head, Jennifer. Trump made us proud Americans. Every one of us was proud. And, you know, people used to say he was going to start the Third World War, that none of the leaders of
well, to them, January 6th was.
Yeah. Well, they created that, right? They created that.
But listen, when he was in office, everybody was proud to be the Dems were all for having this idiot, you know, in office, but everybody was passionate about something.
That's right. They had money in their pockets. They were working. And even through COVID, people, you know, he kept saying 2 weeks, whatever. It was the governors that took it to the extreme when they realized that they could be celebrities like Andrew Cuomo, who was on, you know, television every single day for hours, and freaking stupid de Blasio. And they did that war on who could, you know, do more. But, you know, this man made us proud to be Americans. And I don't know if you heard, but we have now Americans on the ground in Ukraine. So we are starting the World War III. So, you know, it took a Dem. It took a Dem to start a war. Again, back to the top of the program, 1984. War is good. Silencing the public is democracy. They're screwing with your mind. A boy is a girl. Your pronoun is this. Don't look at a penis and say I'm a boy. Don't look at a vagina and say I'm a girl. No, instead, listen to your government. We know best. And parents behave at school board meetings. Somebody's going to teach you how, because we don't know how to behave ourselves. That's the problem.
I wish I was still in school so you could come rant like that.
Well, I did rant like that. That's how I became vice president of the PTA. That was my start of my career in politics, was at your PTA meeting when they were all fighting with each other. And I got involved and said, you're a bunch of lunatics. They are a bunch of disgraziadas.
That's how you spell it.
We all came together after the terrorist attacks, but we can't come together now. You know, Kim, you are absolutely right. Absolutely right. You know, they don't want us together. They want us apart.
It took a terrorist attack and a pandemic to bring people together.
January 6th was a big deal, right? So they played it over and over again. But this isn't a big deal. Let me just show you. It seems to be they want us to live in fear. Watch this clip of what has become a regular occurrence on California streets. And the reporter at the end, watch, she trash talks the cops for not showing up in time. Watch this.
All I could do is just stand back and watch the incident.
This man wants his identity kept secret. After midnight Monday morning, he was headed home from a friend's house and drove straight into a street racer takeover at 5th and Mount Vernon in San Bernardino. This video and witness accounts show about 100 people jamming the intersection, spinning donuts, and letting off fireworks. When the driver of a furniture delivery truck attempted to get through the unruly crowd on a green light, our witness says the crowd turned ugly and attacked the truck driver. His door was not locked.
That's true. people were attacking him. They threw beer bottles, anything that they could find. I know his brother was also in self-defense too, but he was outnumbered. It was 100 people around that truck, and he was outnumbered.
Our witness rolled cell phone video on a dozen people stealing furnishings out of the back of that truck.
How much did they get away with, do you think? Because this almost sounds like a looting situation.
Definitely is. Brand new furniture, man, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And the pickup truck that got the furniture, I'm pretty sure he made money off of that.
Although you can hear police sirens, our witness said law enforcement didn't show up until the craziness was over.
Law enforcement didn't show up until the craziness was over. Well, maybe that's because if they arrested them, who was going to prosecute them? The district attorneys don't prosecute crime in California.
No.
So,
California needs to really fall off the face of the earth.
Well, in New York, and I'm moving along because we have 10 minutes. In New York, Mayor Adams is trash talking cops. Watch this clip about how he wants the community to become Karens and everybody report cops in the subway. Watch this.
Disappointed in the deployment of transit police personnel. I've shared this before. All of you who take the train, you know, you walk downstairs and you see 5 transit officers standing at the booth looking at their phones. Just can't continue to do that. We are going to start taking very aggressive actions to make sure police are patrolling our subway system and not patrolling their iPhone. And so you are going to see a visible difference in policing in the next couple of weeks to get those officers who are not doing their job to join those officers who are doing their job. And you need to see that. And if you see it, send me a picture. Let me know. Because I go to that district the next day and see exactly what's happening. Send me a shot. New Yorkers, you see that? Send me a photo and I would be at that station.
Double adjective. I love it. That's the problem, is that the cops are on their cell phone. It's not that the district attorneys refuse to prosecute low-level crime. It's because the cops are on their cell phones.
That's exactly it.
They're
calling for help. They're like, hello. Can you help me? I'm in hell. And I'm not allowed to protect myself. Thank you.
They're calling for a job transfer. They're calling out of state. They're calling Florida to find out if they're hiring. It's absolutely disgraceful. That's the message. A former cop, a former New York City cop, that's the message he's sending about our police. Maybe that's why we have crime in the subways, not because cops are on their cell phone. What kind of crap?
Meanwhile, they gave them those cell phones.
I mean, not for anything, but here's the thing. Every time I have been given the phone number of a police officer, a mobile phone number, because they're all mobile now because nobody's at their desk, right? They get right back to me. Whether you text or call, they get right back to me. So what the hell is he talking about?
Stop saying that. You're going to get them in trouble. They're not allowed to use their phone.
They're supposed to. It's company department issued cell phones. They're supposed to. What does he think they're doing?
I wish somebody had a body cam when that man was a cop. I would love to know what he did.
Yeah, well, we know he organized. That's
besides growing his ego like a chia pet.
Yeah, well, here's his answer. Here is his answer to a greener, safer New York. Okay, he wants you to report cops when they're using their cell phone, and he would like New York City NYCHA buildings. He wants their roofs to become a place for growers to grow weed, cannabis, ganja.
Maybe he should fix the roofs at NYCHA first, because if he puts anything on top of it, it's going to collapse the whole building.
Where's Tony Herbert? Do you hear that, Tony? I'd love to know what you think about this idea, Tony, to grow weed on NYCHA buildings. Tony, for those of you who don't know, Tony Herbert has been fighting the battle to get NYCHA buildings repaired for the last 20 years. He is basically a spokesperson for the residents of NYCHA who are living with holes in the wall, mold.
No hot water. How many NYCHA buildings didn't have hot water this
How many
winter?
didn't have heat?
Nothing. No hot, well, heat and hot water. They had nothing.
Nothing
for months. Months.
We're going to grow weed on the top of NYCHA.
Grow weed.
What's that going to be like? Maybe that'd be a good way, to make the building safer. What?
Come on, you can't even leave a glass turtle on your patio in Irby. You're going to put weed on the roof of an apartment building.
Listen, that's his plan.
What are we going to have? Police officers guarding it?
Well, he says that the reason for that is because there's not enough green space to grow in New York City. So,
vertical farming, it's called. Vertical farming, urban farming. You can build it in, you don't need anything anymore. It's called vertical farming.
Yeah. And they also have hydroponic.
Vertical farming. One of my clients, Sarah's, not, name dropping, but that's what they do. They sell this stuff so that people can.
Well, name drop. What's your client? Wait, hold on.
Ceres. It's SERESAG.com. But anyway,
excellent.
They're one of my favorite clients, but they sell all of these products to grow anything. It's agriculture, gardening, but it's all about the indoor farming, the urban living, growing your own food. In Harlem, you can have a vertical farm. In your apartment, you can have a vertical farm. They have tents that are the size of a couch, and you can grow in there. So why do we need the rooftop?
I love what you said. Let them fix the rooftops first. Kim Salvo, with each new administration, they are going to fix the NYCHA buildings. Shame on New York City. You know what, Kim? You know what my idea was? My idea was give NYCHA to the Battery Park City Authority, because the Battery Park City Authority knows how to develop property and knows how to maintain property. And it's too big. NYCHA is just too big, and nobody in there knows what they're doing. But are we surprised? It's a government building. It's a government situation. Why should they know what they're doing? Lucille liked your statement. Fix the roofs first. Kim Salvo, well, since so many NYCHA apartments have leaks and mold, why not put a garden on the roof? Right? Exactly. All right. Well, as we're basically dismantling America and everything America stands for, we have a good news story. I don't know if you saw this, Jen. This one touched my heart. There are still those who appreciate the principles America was founded upon. A Utah sanitation worker and Marine veteran, Don Garner, spotted an American flag in the trash, took it out, and folded it to dispose of it properly.
I have chills.
Yeah, watch. This is going to make you cry. There's no sound to this video.
Oh, okay.
Watch him. Now, the interesting thing is that the flag was disposed of in a hurry by the wife of a military veteran. And she absentmindedly, she was cleaning out the porch, getting it ready for spring. And the flag was tattered. So she took it and she tossed it in the trash. And when she spotted Garner folding the flag, she started to videotape him, and then she posted it on her Facebook page saying that she thoughtlessly threw it out and that this man
I'm crying.
Yeah that this man rescued it. For those of you who don't know, the American flag needs to be disposed of properly. If you have a flag, you can call any of your American Legion halls or any of your veterans organizations, and they will take it from you. You don't put a flag in the trash. It's burned in a ceremony. It's done in a proper way to give respect to the flag and the symbol of America. And this veteran knew that. And he said over his lifetime, he has taken dozens and dozens of flags from the trash and folded them and disposed of them properly. So God bless Don Garner.
Thanks, Don, for ruining my makeup. I had to take it off once for allergies.
Now
all our flags are made in China, so.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing. I don't even want to talk about that.
I found that out 10 years ago and I posted it when I had Twitter. And then Jay Leno actually spoke about it 2 days later. The flag had China on it. I was like, are you kidding me?
It's amazing in this country that we don't make anything. Kim Salvo call this scouts. And our last story, last week we talked about Twitter and Elon Musk tweeting from the toilet bowl, but now we have a woman who dropped her phone into an outhouse toilet at the top of Mount Walker in the Olympic National Forest, northwest of Seattle. When she tried to retrieve it, she fell in, then used it to dial 911. The Brennan Fire Department responded and rescued her from her fetid situation. Talk about having a crappy day. It's gross. We're just over an hour. Thank you all for being here.
No, I wrote on
have a great weekend. Do you have any last words?
No.
No. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.